Good evening, everybody. With all my heart, all my love, I welcome you to our Anamkara Thursday night meditation program. And it's so good of you to be able to join us this evening and join us with the power of your practice, the power of your commitment to the practices, and most importantly, the power of your divine self. All the practices are aimed at knowing that. This gathering called satsang is aimed at being able to know the truth, sat, in a gathering, the sangha, so that we're uplifted by what that living presence is that's within each and every one of us. So we gather together and do these practices in order to really help us know that more and more fully and be more and more empowered to then walk it into our everyday lives. Because that's the whole point of practice, is to become so immersed in that we actually are then hitting the real state of meditation. The state of meditation is continuous, always present, always there. Seems intermittent because the mind touches in and goes back, but it's always there. Right? You go to the beach, the ocean's always there. You may stick your toe in once in a while, ocean's always there. Meditation's like that. The ocean of consciousness, the ocean of the divine presence, that is the very ground of being. So we do the practices in order to know that and live that fully. And so we're going to start with the opening mantras as a way of helping our mind become attuned to that presence. Mantra is a throb of the infinite, first heard within the deep states of meditation by the ancient sages and rishis, but it was already there. And it wasn't mind-born. That's what's so important about mantra. It comes from beyond the mind, so it serves as a vehicle to take us beyond the mind, into the source, into the truth of who we are. So we'll start with these opening mantras. Shrim Matakalim Devi Ki Jai Gajananam Bhutanganari Sevitam Kapita Jambu Palacharu Bhakshanam Umasutam Shokam Vinashakarakam Namami Vigneshwara Parapankajam Shri Ganeshaya Namaha Shri Ganeshaya Namaha Shri Ganeshaya Namaha Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamandaya Purnamevavashishate Om Shanti 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 Shri Matakali Mahadevi Ki Jai. And once again, with all my heart, with all my love, I welcome you to our program this evening. So good to be able to enter the stillness, the silence. That's the source. The more we get used to tapping into and being aware of the silence that pervades all times and all places. Sounds arise out of silence and dissolve into silence. Thoughts arise out of silence, dissolve into silence. We come to know the infinite, the one, our true self, in that stillness, in the silence. And then we see how that silence, that stillness gives rise to everything, holds everything, permeates everything. That's all there is. And the practices are all about coming home to that, to knowing that directly. And we've just announced a new course that's in support of that. And so, listening to the divine within. And it's a course that's going to be based on the new book called Oh My Beloved, Whisperings of the Divine, heard by Kalidas. And it's a collection of poetry, and we had just recently finished a course on the previous volume of a collection of poetry called Kali's Bazaar. And we only got halfway through that, so there's going to be a part 2 to that course. And with this course, we're starting out, and it's going to be part 1, and we'll do a part 2 again later in the fall. So if you're interested in that, it's in a way of using sacred poetry as an invocation and helping us to kind of refine the mind, refine our understanding, our practices, to open the heart space that allows us to feel and know how that sublime love of the infinite expresses itself, comes forth in different ways, including through words and poetry. And you can learn to hear that within yourself. That's what's so important, is that source is within you. So it's a contemplative course, but full of sharing and time to discuss and talk about the poetry, to read them, to be with them, to see what they invoke, and be able to talk with each other about that. So it's great satsang, and a great coming together in the company of the truth. And I hope you'll be able to join us for that course. It starts on July 10th, and it runs 8 weeks. So it'll end the last weekend of August, on the 28th of August. There will be recordings of the session, so if you miss a session, you can get the recording immediately afterwards. And if you have any questions, it went out in the e-newsletter today, so be sure to check the e-newsletter. And if you have any questions, just email me. Feel free. So looking forward to starting that and being in the company of everyone on those Sunday evenings. It's different. The last course we ran was on Sunday later afternoon at 4 o'clock. This one is going to start at 7 o'clock. Some people found that it would be easier to fit in with family activities and things, to have it in the evening. So we're trying to shift it and see if we can accommodate more people's schedules. So I hope you'll be able to join us. And again, just email me if you have any questions. So tonight is the second satsang in the month, and we're typically more engaged in chanting. So tonight is more of a chanting night. But what we're going to start out with, in a sense, is a silent chant. The chants are of mantra. The chants are of the throb of the infinite. But there's a mantra that is going on all the time in that stillness, in that silence. And it's a very simple mantra, 2 syllables, ah and hum. Ah, hum. Ah, hum. And we repeat that silently, almost as if we're really listening to the infinite in its throb of that sound. The breath comes in with an ah as the breath is coming in, and a hum as the breath is going out, and ah as the breath is coming in, and a hum as the breath is going out. It's the living presence, the living consciousness of the infinite that inhabits all that you are, with the awareness of I am, the very ground of being. We're used to then going into I am a this and I am a that, and I wish I wasn't this and I wish I wasn't that. Well, that all comes after. It all starts with I am. I am. So we rest in the source. And the way we're going to be doing that is with the harmonium. But you're going to do that silently, just in your mind. Don't say that out loud. So it's ah on the inhalation, silently in the mind. And then the hum on the exhalation, again, just silently in the mind. Inviting the breath to slow and deepen. hum on the exhalation. A simple, bare awareness. I am. Before it becomes anything. It doesn't even become that. Not even I am that. Just I am. The root of it all. The infinite that holds it all, becomes it all. That's that awareness. I am. So we can keep coming back to that any time, any place. Coming back to the breath. Listening for the as the breath comes in. The hum as the breath goes out. I am. Become rooted in that. Steady in that. Steady as a mountain. That's that awareness. Unshakable. I am. All the movement comes after that as it gets identified with I am this and I am that. The root. I am. We come back to that. So even as we're doing chants of other mantras, in a moment we'll be doing the chant of the Kali mantra. And even with that, Shri Mata Kali, we're going to be aware of I am. I am Kali. Om Mata Kali. Om Mata Durga. Kali Durga Namo Namah. Om Mata Kali. Om Mata Durga. Kali Durga Namo Namah. It's chanting and invoking the feminine face of the infinite, the Divine Mother, the Great One. In fact, the other chants we'll be doing this evening are also invocations of the Divine Mother. Especially at this time, we need that power. She's the support of it all. And in this age, in this dark age, that's known in the Eastern traditions as Kali Yuga. Kali just meaning dark, Yuga, age. That presence, Dharma Shakti, the divine feminine, is in a sense being degraded. And we can see that. Mother Earth under attack. Swatantriya Devi, Lady Liberty, the very foundation of democracy, under attack. Lady Justice being challenged. Where's real justice? Balance. So when we're calling upon the Mother, it's both calling upon her infinite, sublime nature to uplift, to expand our consciousness beyond the confines of this ordinary mind and body and the confines of what's going on in this world, but also empowering us to walk that power of consciousness into the world in support of Dharma, in support of that kind of equality and compassion, loving compassion for all beings, loving compassion for each other, loving compassion for the earth. So we're empowered to be able to walk that into the world. So we're going to start with Om Mata Kali, Om Mata Durga, Kali Durga Namo Namah. Om Mata Kali, Om Mata Durga, Om Mata Kali, Om Mata Durga, Kali Durga, Namo Namah, Kali Durga, Namo Namah. Om Mata Kali, Om Mata Durga, Om Mata Kali, Om Mata Durga, Kali Durga, Namo Namah, Kali Durga, Namo Namah. Om Mata Kali, Om Mata Durga, Om Mata Kali, Om Mata Durga, Kali Durga Namo Namah. Kali Durga Namo Namah. Om Mata Kali, Om Mata Durga, Om Mata Kali, Om Mata Durga, Kali Durga Namo Namah. Kali Durga Namo Namah. Om Mata Kali, Om Mata Durga, Om Mata Kali, Om Mata Durga, Kali Durga Namo Namah. Kali Durga Namo Namah. Om Mata Kali, Om Mata Durga, Om Mata Kali, Om Mata Durga, Kali Durga Namo Namah. Kali Durga Namo Namah. Om Mata Kali, Om Mata Durga, Om Mata Kali, Om Mata Durga, Kali Durga Namo Namah. Kali Durga Namo Namah. Om Mata Kali, Om Mata Durga, Om Mata Kali, Om Mata Durga, Kali Durga Namo Namah. Kali Durga Namo Namah. Om Mata Kali, Om Mata Durga, Om Mata Kali, Om Mata Durga, Kali Durga Namo Namah. Kali Durga Namo Namah. Om Mata Kali, Om Mata Durga, Om Mata Kali, Om Mata Durga, Kali Durga Namo Namah. Kali Durga Namo Namah. Om Mata Kali, Om Mata Durga, Om Mata Kali, Om Mata Durga, Kali Durga Namo Namah. Kali Durga Namo Namah. Om Mata Kali, Om Mata Durga, Om Mata Kali, Om Mata Durga, Kali Durga Namo Namah. Kali Durga Namo Namah. Om Mata Kali, Om Mata Durga, Om Mata Kali, Om Mata Durga, Kali Durga Namo Namah. Kali Durga Namo Namah. Om Mata Kali, Om Mata Durga, Om Mata Kali, Om Mata Durga, Kali Durga Namo Namah. Kali Durga Namo Namah. Om Mata Kali, Om Mata Durga, Om Mata Kali, Om Mata Durga, Kali Durga Namo Namah. Kali Durga Namo Namah. Om Mata Kali, Om Mata Durga, Om Mata Kali, Om Mata Durga, Kali Durga Namo Namah. Om Mata Kali, Om Mata Durga. stillness, that silence, the quieting in the mind. One of the powers of mantra is to absorb the mind, bring it into the quiet embrace of the divine, to rest there. We keep coming back to that. This next chant is also another chant of an invocation of the Divine Mother. And it's a chant of Bhajamana Ma, Ma, Ma. Bhajamana means, oh my mind, sing. Oh Bhajamana Ma, sing. Ma, Ma. Ma is the primordial mantra of the mother. What baby doesn't sing? Ma, Ma, Ma. So Ma, we're calling on Ma, the Divine Mother, in all her forms. They didn't have just one form. Look at all the forms mothers have taken. Mothers of everything, everyone. Everyone's born of the mother. So we're invoking that sublime, infinite power of creativity, that infinite power of love and compassion, patience and kindness that envelops us like a loving mother. It says, here, I'll help you through this. So, Bhajamana Ma, 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 Bhajamana Ma, 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 Anandamai, Ma, Ma, Anandamai, Ma, Ma. Well, Anandamai was also a great saint in the Hindu tradition, yoga tradition in India. But Anandamai means the blissful mother, the blissful. Ananda, we know that from Satchidananda. Ananda is primal qualities of our own self, this rapturous, loving quality of the infinite that is the root of who we are. Whenever we feel joy, it arises from inside. We think it was something outside that spurred that, but it's only because it quieted our mind for a moment, and then the natural presence of joy arises. The yogis saw this thousands of years ago and realized, the mind gets agitated by desires. It seems to get a hold of what that desire is, and so it becomes quiet. In that quiet, the natural innate joy arises. But the poor deluded mind then thinks it came from outside. It never comes from outside. It arises from within. If you had more and more of that other stuff, you wouldn't get happier and happier. The joy and the source of that arises within. Ananda, the mother, blissful mother, arising within each and every one of us. So we can come home to that. Come home and know that. So, Bhajamana Ma, Ma, Ma. Bhajamana Ma, 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 Ma. Anandamaya Ma, Ma. Anandamaya Ma, Ma. Anandamaya Ma, Ma. Anandamaya Ma, Ma. Bhajamana Ma, 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 Ma. Anandamaya Ma, Ma. Anandamaya Ma, Ma. Anandamayi Mama, Anandamayi Mama, Benjaminama, Mama, Benjaminama, Mama, Benjaminama, Mama, Benjaminama, Mama, Anandamayi Mama, Anandamayi Mama, Anandamayi Mama, Anandamayi Mama, Benjaminama, Mama, Benjaminama, Mama, Benjaminama, Mama, Benjaminama, Mama, Anandamayi Mama, Anandamayi Mama, Anandamayi Mama, Anandamayi Mama, Benjaminama, Mama, Benjaminama, Mama, Benjaminama, Mama, Benjaminama, Mama, Anandamayi Mama, Anandamayi Mama, Anandamayi Mama, Anandamayi Mama, Benjaminama, Mama, Benjaminama, Mama, Benjaminama, Mama, Benjaminama, Mama, Anandamayi Mama, Anandamayi Mama, Anandamayi Mama, Anandamayi Mama, Benjaminama, Mama, Benjaminama, Mama, Benjaminama, Mama, Benjaminama, Mama, Anandamayi Mama, Anandamayi Mama, Anandamayi Mama, Anandamayi Mama, Benjaminama, Mama, Benjaminama, Mama, Benjaminama, Mama, Benjaminama, Mama, Anandamayi Mama, Anandamayi Mama, Anandamayi Mama, Anandamayi Mama, Benjaminama, Mama, Benjaminama, Mama, Benjaminama, Benjaminama, Anandamayi Mama, Anandamayi Mama, Anandamayi Mama, Anandamayi Vajamanama, Ma, Ma. To become absorbed in the mother, and Ma, Ma. Just become absorbed in the one. That's what we're called to know. Vajamanama, Ma, Ma. Another one of her sublime forms from the Tibetan Buddhist tradition is Tarma, Great Mother Tara, Tarma. We have tankas of her, statues. So this one is Om Tere, Tu Tere, Tore Soha. Om Tere, Tu Tere, Tore Soha. Invokes the Great Mother as Tara in her many forms, especially as green tar, Mother of compassion, who leaps forward to remove the suffering of all beings. Om Tere, Tu Tere, Tore Soha. Om Tere, Tu Tere, Tore Soha. So as we're chanting that, and know and feel that loving compassion that floods the body and the mind, floods our consciousness, and then floods the world. You can even imagine that sublime power of that compassion and that love going out to all those in need, all who are suffering, and helping to remove their suffering, helping to strengthen them to carry and move through what they need to move through. Om Tere, Tu Tere, Tore Soha. Great Tarma. We'll be chanting her name now. And then after that, we'll just sit in the stillness, in the silence of meditation for a few minutes. And at the end of meditation, we'll ring a gong. Om Tare Tu Tare Tore Soha. 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 Allowing the mind to rest on the breath and the throb of mantra, the throb of the infinite, the throb of love, sent out by the infinite to draw the mind back home to its source, the loving embrace of the divine. Rest, rest there. close with this chant. Om Kalima, Kali Namo Namah. So we end with this prayer. And may all our practices truly benefit everyone. And may all beings know complete freedom from suffering. Namaste. Jaya Ma. Ma. Taking refuge in the Mother. Her countless forms. There's a form that will speak to any heart, every being. She throbs there already. The pulse of life, the movement of the breath, all her. Every thought, Shakti, arising out of her, dissolving into her. When we look around with the right understanding, all we see is Ma. There's all this, all forms, and all that's beyond, and all that holds it, this loving, compassionate embrace, inviting us to know that, to be empowered by that, and then to walk that into the world. All suffering arises from ignorance of that, one's true nature, the living presence. All suffering that is then given birth to by that ignorance is dissolved by knowing. So we want to be free. You need to be immersed in that and walk in the light of that wisdom, that love, that compassion. Because when beings are suffering, they flail about and inflict suffering on countless others. That's what we see in this world. And the antidote is true knowing. True knowing. In this moment, the living presence of the divine, always there. The flame of consciousness in every being. Knowing that, we're empowered to walk in this world, to see through the suffering. So keep coming home to the truth of who you are and live that into the world and in your everyday lives. As everything is her sublime presence. You don't have to go somewhere to find her. Let's go look past the mind. There she is, arms open. So take refuge in the divine embrace. And thank you for coming this evening. Thank you for the many ways you support Anamkara and passing on the e-newsletter and letting others know about what we offer so that others can partake of that, making donations, supporting us in that way, and taking the courses. Thank you. And then I look forward to seeing you in our next satsang. Jai Ma. I love you all.